If you're offended, well, we do not apologise. If you can look at this with an open mind and not take life too seriously, then you may just come away well and truly entertained.
Never fear, Sean Big is here. Today's guest is Phil Davies, the singer of Snortpunk. Let's get on to the show.
Well, we should start a podcast off. This is caithness podcast, and today's guest is Phil. And I only found this out now. I didn't know your last name, Phil.
It's Davies.
Davies, all right. it's like I was even looking on like Facebook, and it's like Badger,
Yeah, Badger Brock or Ras for Containing. Ras for Containing is who I go under in the band, Snortpunk.
Okay, well, we could start off with that. It means where did you get your name, Russell O'Tanan?
It's Finnish. The Rasfer is the Finnish word for fat, and I just like the sound of it. Right. And Containing is a Finnish surname, and I thought it went quite well together. So it was that's where the name comes from, with my interest and sort of fascination with Finland in general, the music and culture and language and film, etc. Yeah.
I was going to touch on that with Finland. It's funny because like the caithness flag is looks Norwegian, eh?
Yes, all the Nordic flags are very similar, and that the caithness one is also, it does lend to sort of Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. Yes.
Because I was going to say, because you must quite like that, knowing well you're still in Scotland, but it's quite Norwegian up here. It's still got it's same slight history and the same flag, and don't know. Do you see it in that way, or yeah?
I do, because I know from where I am on this side of the county, all the names are of Norse origin, whereas further inland they're all Gaelic. I know that. And so the fact that there's still an influence of Norway here in caithness, it's nice to have that, and being the type of music I produce as well.
Yeah, so that's cool. Because your trade is archaeologist, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, as my profession was. Yes, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. And then you moved up to caithness, and now you do black metal, basically.
Yes, that's it.
Where did a love of black metal come from?
It started when because I've been sort of into metal over quite a long period of time, and I had a bit of a spell of a lull in my enthusiasm for metal. But when I started to get back into it, it came back in 2001. There was a compilation CD with one of the metal magazines, and there was a song on there by a Norwegian black metal band, Dimmu Borgir, and that's what led me in that direction, and that's what made me form the other band I'm part of, Charcoal Death. But it was due to that track that led me on that trajectory into that sort of music. Yes.
It's funny because it's like that's where I found Slipknot. It was this, I was speaking about it in the last podcast. It was like it's that music album, like it was about 20 songs, and it was like it came in Metal Hammer, and I was like, who's this guy in masks? And then straight away just fell in love with Slipknot. And if it wasn't for me buying that CD, buying that magazine, I probably wouldn't. I probably know Slipknot later on, but I wouldn't know them straight at the get go.
Absolutely, yeah. I remember when they first hit their first album, and the track on that, I had this again. This was on a compilation. There was a song on that, I think it was off the first album, called Eyeless, and it was brutal. I just I loved it, and I've got one of their later albums, but that track was just like, when I heard that, I thought, yeah, this is something really interesting.
Yeah. I was the same as me. I never heard music like that before, and then I so I was like Nirvana, sort of like grunge, and then I just went into this whole heavier and heavier stuff.
Yeah.
Means I'll touch on what is your band's been on a radio a few times, yeah?
Yes, we have on caithness FM. There was a
That's all
there
right.
was
You can answer that, and then we can come back to it.
no, sorry, it's okay. Sorry. Was we've sorry,
All right, all right.
sorry, what's the question? The question again? Sorry, that threw me.
Oh no, I was saying your band was on your music was on radio a few times, yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, on caithness FM with the chap called Gary Clark used to do a kind of rock show with varying sort of types of heavy rock, metal, and etc. And on 2 occasions, he played 2 of my records. Yeah, which was really neat because I didn't think it would be sort of even on a late night sort of show. It would be kind of viable, but it was. So yeah, and he quite liked it as well. So that
That's
was
cool.
really, yeah.
How did Gary hear your music then?
Through Facebook because he was on Facebook and on Twitter, and
Right.
we got chatting, and I think I must have had links to my music on those accounts, and then he said he was going to play one of my songs, and I think I sent him a couple of 3 for him to choose from, and he chose off Charcoal Death. There's a song. It was a re-recorded version from the very first demo that came out in late 2003, and he played that song called Vampires, and he played that, and then he played one we used to be called Megrim Troll. He played, I can't remember which one of those he played, but he played that one of those songs as well. Within a few weeks of the first song and that, yeah.
That's cool. Because like they'll get it played on the radio. Like I always find that it's old school and it's really cool. It's kind of like what I was saying last night. It's a bit like not Bill and Ted, Wayne's World. You know, like
Yeah.
a local radio station, and then you're like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
look
it says.
what was I going to say? I mean, did you get signed up to a record label at one point?
We were a Finnish label called After Winter Records, and they put up some of our material on Spotify and Apple. But it must be over a year ago now that I sent them some other material, and I never heard back from them. I don't think the label's active anymore because there's been no update on their website. So I reapproached took it from of how to get music onto Spotify, because it's not like Bandcamp where you can sign up and upload your music. You need a third party. So I signed up with DistroKid. So everything I do goes through them. So I upload the tracks and all the information, and then within 2 or 3 days they put it onto Spotify for me. So that's how
cool.
Yeah.
Like,
so
because I was just mind that day. I was like, that's right. You've been signed with a record label. That was like, I was just you must have told me that years ago, or somebody told me that.
yes.
Yeah. But it's good. I mean, what is it? Are you looking for trying to get on Spotify now, or does that?
I'm on Spotify. It's just the problem is I find is all keeping on top of the social media with like promoting new releases. I'm not very good at that side of it. I'll do it for a bit, then after a while, no one says anything, so I just like kind of leave it and that. But I would need what I'd like is if I could find someone who could sort of handle all that side of things for me, do all the promotion and stuff. Then I can just like dabble away with all the music and stuff. That would be much. That would
I
be
get
much.
you. Like I'm kind of in between of like I can mind before social media and now and and then I sort of like I was late. Well, would I say late teens, early 20s when it really started? Well, it was only in the last, I would say, 10 years it's really kicked off. Where you needed to have a social media platform and you need to have so many followers till people even look at your stuff. I noticed that. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of annoying because there's a lot of stuff going under the radar of what's good, but because they're maybe not active on social media as much, or they're not tech savvy, a lot of it goes missing. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That I find that with myself. And it's how I think a lot of it is. I was told, like regarding Twitter, it's like even the time of day when you put stuff up when people are more focused,
yeah.
and I just don't know the ins and outs or the kind of or the
The other rhythm. It's like even like it was my mate who told me, he goes, post up stuff in the morning at like say 7:30 till 9. That's when people are like getting up for work, sort of around about that time, or
yeah
4:30 till 6. That's the other rhythm. And you, for some reason, it always goes up more. Like it gets people watch it more. It's a funny one, or even like if you're doing it on Facebook, if you get somebody to write a comment on whatever you post up, it stays up on Facebook longer on the actual thing.
yeah
It's silly things like that where even with me, and like some people are really good at it, and I'm like, what's Twitter? What is it? X Twitter? I don't know. Like I just
I
and TikTok. I'm too old for TikTok. I'm just that's a different ballgame.
Yeah, I do have an account with TikTok for for mainly advertising purposes. Like when there's one of our events coming up, I often do a little film of that,
Yeah.
or I've done little snippets of music as well. But that's just basically another way of me trying to promote myself. So it's not something I use a great deal, but it's handy to have it there for, as another source of getting yourself known.
I think like if you had somebody who's good at editing and doing like little short videos, because it's really like 20 seconds is like people's attention span now. It means if even it was like that where like it's a clip of your song with something what's visually like pleasing, I could catch you. It's but like I'm saying that like I post up a video what's maybe took me ages and it's probably about a minute and something longer and it hardly gets any looks. You're just like, and then the next thing I could just do a video of what's this, what is it? Something I've just put up there and I'll get like a few hundred views or a thousand or something. You're like, how? That was just me mucking about. But when I try it, I get nothing.
I, I've had a few. I've had the most looks I had on one of the videos I put up on TikTok. I think I got over 1,000 hits. But the thing is, when you look at the statistics of how long people there, it is about 20 seconds, and then it's off. So yeah, I've had quite a lot into the hundreds, but it's always very short lived. It's like, well, you mean to say you didn't even watch a video that's like me announcing it for a couple of 3 minutes? You couldn't even sit through 3 minutes. Pretty bad.
But somebody was saying last week, Neil Walsh, like a drummer from Kogel, he was saying like kids now only know like a clip of a TikTok song, like a sort of like main hook, and they didn't actually know a band, and they go and watch a band, and they only wait for that one maybe couple of seconds, and then take out their phone and film it, and you're like, did they even know the album anymore? Did they know the music? It's weird.
That is mental. Yeah, I'm still very much old school. I always still do a few limited edition CDs because I like to have a copy myself of what all the music I produce. I mean, having uploading music for downloads is a useful tool, but I don't understand these bands who don't release anything physical. I mean,
Yeah,
if I see something as a band I don't like the look of, they sound interesting, and if I go on, they've got like a Bandcamp page, and if there's no CD or cassette, I don't buy it, and that's it.
yeah.
I'm not interested.
I feel like that's more a metal thing because like I know my uncle's band, he's grindcore, and he says he sells tapes, and I don't know if it's a hipster thing. They want to buy old school tapes, like people who never even mind the days when they used to be tapes or records. Like, and I like a physical copy as well. I feel like if I buy a book or a DVD, I want actual proper copy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't want to. I don't want to just download it. I mean, I'd say it has its uses. That's how you know stuff you like. But I'll always seek a physical copy over just a download any day.
Yeah.
Because what have you got? You've got download. You've got not. You don't actually have anything. It's just all on like your device or iPad.
I know. I just laugh at it because like if your electric goes off, actually you got nothing. Like if the internet goes down, you don't have anything. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just point is there's a good quote on. I'm a member of the site Metal Archives. I'm in the archive bit, and also a member of the forum. And someone has on every post he puts up, and it's his signature. It says a bunch of MP3s isn't a music collection, and he's right. You know,
It's true.
Because if everything breaks down, you lose all your music. You ain't got anything, have you?
But it is good. Like I think proper metal fans are into like older style of like tapes or records because like even records has got a nicer sound. And I say this every time in the podcast. Like I love the sound of records and I love the artwork that comes with it. You know.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, if I could, I'd be quite costly to put stuff out on vinyl. But if I could get someone to put snortpunk stuff out on vinyl, I'll definitely be up for that.
I could send you a link because what is it? I was asking somebody how much was it to get your printed on vinyl, and he told me a price. I said, "Well, that's pretty expensive." And then I found this other company what they're doing in Britain. I don't know how many copies you need to buy, but it was a lot more cheaper. It was doable. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. Like, but I send that across to you and see what you're thinking of it.
Yeah.
How many albums have you put out?
There's been I think there must be about 14 or more under because we were originally known as Megrim Troll, but all I did was change the name, and so that's been it must be about 14 now, because the earliest stuff I put out was in 2010, and then the very first CD I put out under Meager and Troll was this here. That's Aurora Borealis and the Dark and Midwinter. I did 5 copies of that, so that was the first audio, because the first 2 were DVDs I put out, because I was interested in sort of experimenting with visual stuff then.
All right.
But I now I don't really do so much of that. I'm more into just getting music out. So it's all just audio stuff now. Videos, I'm experimenting with that a little bit here and there, but it's mainly just getting audio work out at the minute.
Because sorry.
Sorry. I would like to put out something, a mixture of like film and music, so like a CD with a film with video and stuff, and get that properly released, like, you know, with a proper cover and everything. That's nice.
It'd be good to get your stuff, like all your artwork and your videos and all that 14 CDs, and then try to make some sort of either a documentary on it, or yeah, because you got loads of artwork I see, and I mind you tell me, like, all your CDs is linked into I was going to say song, my mind went blank there. A story. They're all story based, aren't they? Yeah.
Yes, all the lyrics and that are a series of characters set in a fictional world. So that's been a good tap for inspiration over the years, and so they all tell a story, and some characters are revisited, as we are with the up and coming album Randveig Helgasdotter. That's a trilogy, so that's a character, an older character revisited again. So that this is the one that's coming out hopefully imminently. Just waiting to hear back from a new vocalist I've recorded. She's doing one of the songs, and so it's kind of like it's all a story. There's a message of environment, about the environment and nature, and but also steeped in kind of like creating my own folklore, as it were.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I never heard this a singer doing that before. I know you get bands what maybe in the 70s. I don't know. But like having all in albums, and there is basically a book, and they're like telling a story and having all these different characters. I haven't heard of somebody doing something like that before. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, because I initially with Charcoal Death, that was kind of like a varied base of subjects. But I some of the songs I wrote were based around themes from the book The Lord of the Rings. But after a while, I thought, when I started with Meager and Troll, it was like, I don't, it's a bit of a waste of time, regurgitating what someone else has done. So that's when I started to, I've got maps of the world of this place, and I started creating the characters and stories. I did it on a blog, and it's much more fun if you can just write, just completely original stories of characters you created, as opposed to borrowing from someone else.
It's cool. I mind years ago you were telling me, I don't know if it's the same sort of band, but it was, what was it? It was basically you put it on Facebook, and it was a made up band, totally made up, and then you put a message saying, "Oh, mine's seen them in such and such a pub in the 70s in 1975," and then you're hoping other people were going to join in and say, "Oh, mine's seen them in the Barrowlands in such and such a date," and a story about that. And I really like that. I thought that's really creative. It was like people are jumping into your world, and and then everybody's got a story about a made up band what nobody's seen, but people are telling stories. I love that.
A whole lineup changes. I've written about that with this the band I've mentioned to you the other day, Stan Astrol. And it's completely fictional, but it will be good to get one other people to join in, as you say, like they saw them such and
Yeah,
such a plan. Yeah, I saw them when they toured Swindon in 1988.
just before they got big, I was their first fan, and then it grows arms and legs and stories. But I really like that because I mind watching Be Kind Rewind years ago, and the whole thing was a town came together to create this folklore, and then and people started like joining in there, and like I thought it was I thought it was quite a creative thing like that.
Yeah, it would be nice if people did sort of jump in, because that's what it's about. I mean, music is about, it brings people together, whether you're producing it or just watching bands or listening to music. It's a unifying thing, that whatever the type or type style of music it is, it's a unifying force. And if everyone starts pitching in, that fleshes out the whole storytelling of a fictional band. And then, you say someone know, oh yeah, I knew the guitarist just before she joined the band. We were in a band together, and then they broke up, and then she was recruited into the band. It's just endless. You could go down
Yeah,
a whole.
different grow arms and legs and the stories, and it was just it'd be good. I think you need to go back to that for on Facebook, and
Yeah,
uh,
I've added more drawing, and I do have an Instagram page for the character that I mentioned, Heidi Chloe Florence Containen, and she's that's there, and it's just all the pictures I've drawn of her.
yeah.
It's so that's a starting point. I've got a small following on there, and there has been some likes and that, but no one's kind of wanting to
Oh no, it will come at the right moment. Like I think a lot of stuff is just the right timing with certain things. Um,
mm,
but in what this is other, it means your recording studio or like where you record your music is basically just in your living room, isn't it?
yes, yeah, it's all very roughly hewn.
Yeah,
Um,
sort of DIY and
mm,
how
yeah,
how how do you go about like recording your CDs? Is it just getting a microphone and then what is it, playing a guitar, or do you mix it? Like do you?
no, it's quite when I'm doing stuff, it's just like putting on the either the smartphone or the laptop with an external microphone and recording directly into that. And then if I've got like the this our most recent one, the Tarina
All right.
4 and 5. What I did was is I recorded the bass. No, I recorded the guitar, then I played the bass live with the guitar being played through the CD player, and then I
Right.
recorded it all together. Then I sent the music down to our vocalist, and then she did her part and sent it back. So it's very sort of rough, but
It's really punk, like 100% punk. It's like I mind when I was used to muck about when I was younger, and it's the same idea when I learned how to edit. Is I used to get my video camera, I film it, and then I used to take a tape of that, I put it in a video machine, and I film it off the TV and pause and stop at the parts I like, and then take that tape and then put it in again, and then put music for it and stick stuff on a TV. And I mean, it was bleached, it looked rough, but at the time that was the way how I learned how to edit it, through
yeah,
that, like
yeah,
copy and paste way, really. Like, yeah,
yeah.
I like it. I like that sort of like hands-on approach instead of doing it through a clean version on a computer.
Yeah, exactly. As I'm not very tech savvy, but it works. It's a way of recording music and putting it out. So
Yeah,
until I've got someone, or if I could actually go into a proper recording studio and have someone produce, this is how I would do it, and it's worked so far. And I'm quite true to my aim with regarding to the whole lo-fi minimalist angle.
But it's your style, it's your sound. It would be taken away if it was polished up.
I think it would lose the edge, and it would lose some of its, once for a better description, I think it would lose its kind of identity and personality as music, speaking
Yeah.
as a form of music. Yeah. So as long as I can do it this way, it works. It's quite precarious, but that's part of the fun of it. And then seeing how things turn out at the end. So, and
Yeah,
that's what.
I really like I like that way you're doing it. It is sort of like putting a tape machine in the middle of the room, play music, and then having two other tape machines, and then playing songs on top of it, and
Yeah,
that's quite cool. Like
yeah,
it's
that's how I.
different.
Yeah, that's how I build it up. I mean, most people think, well, they sort of look at you like, but it worked.
Nah,
It
I
worked.
like that. Even when I was younger, when I used to get tapes and I'd be like trying to mix music together, and over the top, and that was the way I did it. Like play it on one machine and then play it on the other machine and then speak through it. And yeah, I mean, but that's the way I learned it. It was just like what I was saying, my editing was the same. It was like start off with like physical, if that makes sense. Instead of being on a computer.
Yeah, it's good to try those trial and error ways. So if you do become like you want to sort of have something more polished, then you could learn and adapt to that. But I find it's easier this way because I've got my own way of doing things. Sometimes I have to think a little bit harder if it's something that's more like there's other, like I've got more than just like two instruments, but I can normally work through it and come to some sort of arrangement that kind of feels right and works with the whatever song that I'm trying to put together. Because now it's more of a joint collaboration. Because my brother, he's played on well, he's sessioned with us a few times over the years, but he's been more kind of active now because he's on this new album, and then the track the single that we did 17 Winters After that I gave you a copy of
Yeah,
that, and he played on that and on this new one. And so I everything starts with the bass. So whatever riffs I've come up with, I work on those until I'm happy with them. Then I record them, send to him. He does his bit and bungs them back, and then we put it down to a vocalist. So it's more of a joint thing now, which is nice because that means I'm not writing everything. So
yeah.
I write the bass lines and some of the lyrics, and then the music is written between me and him. So that's
Really.
another way of doing it.
Because you started off in your first band was just basically yourself doing it all, and now
Yes,
it's
yeah, it was just me with well, if I go right back in time, that was 81. That was me and a mate. That was two. But since like with Charcoal Death and initially with Snortpunk, it was just me. And I everything those earliest demos were all done on the cassette.
all right.
Yeah, and so I used to have a Boron, and I'd record that, and I'll play that on the stereo on another cassette. Then I do the bass and vocals on top of that. So that's how that I used to do those early demos, and I've got a lot of those hereabouts. And I did
I'll
it.
be cool to hear
Yeah.
you see with your first couple of bands, the one you played with your mate and that. Did you get any gigs or did you do anything with it, or was it just a bit of muck about in the house?
We were 14 at the time,
Uh,
and we had aspirations of seriously wanting to get somewhere.
yeah,
And we recorded that tape, which I still have, But we didn't get any gigs. There was just like me and him. I did vocals. He played all the guitars and I wrote the lyrics. And some of the stuff on some of the songs I played acoustic guitar and bass guitar. And I had these bells because I thought it sounded kind of spooky and ethereal. And that was the first thing. We didn't get any gigs or anything because, I say, it was just us. We did get to practice at the school on Friday afternoons, but we went up there and they had drums and stuff, and another mate of ours, but it was a bit of a disaster, and in the end we went our sort of separate ways. But it was really, that was the first time. That's what really got me fat. I just like that whole thing of writing stuff and recording stuff, and we used to take turns and to go. One Friday he come down to me, and the next Friday I go up to his house, and then it would be like when you're recording, it was just like really fun because you're there together, working and trying to get some.
That's what
good.
That's what's good about being that age, because everybody's got that freedom of go, right, I'm going to be really creative, and you're kind of reaching for the goals there. You're like, I'm going to be in a band. I used to love when I was like that age and just be like, right, I'm going to make a movie. I'm going to do a video or something. And it's like, nobody went, yeah, nah, you're too old to be fucking about. Like, it's that nice feeling that you've got freedom to do whatever you want. It's like,
that's it. Yeah, you're kind of at that age. You're growing and developing as a person, and you're beginning. That's the first time when you're in your sort of early teens that you're beginning to form your own opinions and what you like and what you don't like. And so that's an interesting time of kind of self growing up and all the rest of it. Yeah, that was. I look back at those times. Kind of fond memories, kind of with also a bit like rose tinted glasses as well.
I feel the same when I look back at like teens, and like it's last week while I'm sitting there reminiscing about stuff, and it's like, and then I'm like, I was shy, I was like, what is it, nervous, and like blah blah blah. But you forget all that stuff. You forget like you lacked confidence in this, that, and the next. You just mind all the good bits, and like. I wasn't that good. It was. It's like couldn't speak to lasses, man. I would be sitting there, face would be red as anything.
Same here.
Oh man, I lie in my bed at night and I'm just ready to go to sleep, and then I mind on something. I'm like, oh no, I was just cringe. I'm like, why? I went through that phase. They're probably still thinking I'm arsehole.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think we've all got some cringe-inducing moments in our lives that we'd rather forget, but that's part of it.
That's me. Like, yeah, I literally could write a book on it. Just the cringiest things. It's like this. Oh, it's just embarrassing. I don't know why I got it. I literally didn't.
I look back and I think, well, really, did I really say that? Did I really do that? And it's like, the earth to swallow you up.
Yeah. Oh, that's feeling.
I bet you could talk to a lot of people, and I don't know how honest they'd all be, but we've all done it somewhere down the line where we've made a bit of a goof.
Oh, people like, I don't know. You get some people and you think, oh, they're cool or whatever, and I bet they're sitting there going, nah, this either lacking confidence or stuff's not like, or like definitely Facebook, because you see like Facebook and it's like fake book, and like their life's not going as well as what it looks like, and same goes to like cringy moments, like man, I'd stumble through life like even now I'm like late 30s and still just embarrassment.
I have learned over the years to kind of not to say it. What sounds funny in your head doesn't always say funny. I'm a bit more mindful as I got older, but yeah, I still make mistakes and drop. Never mind. I've just got to stumble my way through things, and that's how it is. And it's the same. It's the whole thing. The same with music. It's just like I've loved from a fairly young age, and it wasn't enough for me just to be a fan of music. I wanted to do my own thing. It's not enough
Yeah.
having a lot of CDs and stuff and collecting music, which I do. I've got to do my own thing as well. That's what drives me. It's just the need to sort of have something that I can put my name on. Uh,
That's cool.
Who's a creator and an artist. So that's another reason why I do it, because I say, it's just not, you can sort of envision yourself playing songs by bands you love and it's you doing it, but ultimately the best thing of all is doing your own songs and actually doing it yourself.
I noticed like up north, like I say this the whole time on the podcast, there's like loads of like talented people, but they end up doing cover bands. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with cover bands, because in a night out you want wagon wheel, like play a wagon wheel. It's like, but, like it'd be good like them playing their own stuff, but
Yeah.
people are not giving them, they're not getting booked for that. They're getting booked for like playing cover songs. Yeah.
I think if you've got the ability to play an instrument, I think it's worth doing your own things, because otherwise, at the end of the day, you're just doing someone else's song. I mean, you can interpret it differently, you can do different things, but it's still not your song.
No,
But
yeah.
I can understand why people hire cover bands, because they play popular songs like for parties and stuff. But yeah, that's got its place. But ideally, I think the whole thing is like trying to do something yourself. So whether
Yeah.
it's commercially viable or not, or whatever route you take musically speaking, I just think it's better because it's more fun. Then you can do what you want with that song. You can sort of
Ah,
do different takes and try different things. That's where I stand on that sort of thing.
no, I get you. I was going to speak. We already touched on like how your music is basically a story. All your albums are stories. But where did Maddie come out of? Like you're one of your characters.
What? Sorry,
Is it Madeline or Maddie? No, who's the one you always see? A girl. Uh,
Heidi.
Heidi. Aye, sorry. Aye, Heidi. Aye.
Heidi. Yes. Yeah. That came out. I started thinking about that a number of years ago, because the idea behind that sort of her fictitious band, Sten as Troll, was um, I wanted to make. Well, I still want to make, but I don't. I think it's ever going to happen. But the idea was to make a stop motion animation film about her and the band. So it would be like actual musicians, playing the songs, and a film about her. And that would be like a whole thing of how the band was formed, but in a film, stop motion
Right.
animation, and then and with an accompanying soundtrack as well, played by proper musicians who would be into that sort of thing and writing that type of music.
Right. Because is this all I see at artwork the whole time is Heidi, and I mind you saying it was like she's a part of the story, but I was wondering how was this like through like a band you created? It was Heidi who was meant to be a singer, or I wasn't sure. I couldn't work out.
Oh, she's the bass player.
Bass player, right?
She used to be the vocalist because they were a three-piece, but then
Okay,
they got a Russian woman in called Ekaterina, and she's the current vocalist. And then there was one of the guitarists called Ino Laxo. She was fired for embezzling the band's money. And then another guitarist, Felix Korhonen, was brought in, and he's the current guitarist. So they're like a four-piece now. Yeah.
So this is all his story. This is just like this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where all that comes from, and it's nice when you add like little lineup changes, but then you you say why someone left or they were fired. And there was one of the members in the earlier part of the band, Muster thing he was called, and he was involved, unfortunately, in a motorcycle accident, so he couldn't play with the band anymore. And I actually took photographs around hereabouts in Caithness where he had his accident on his motorbike, and then it was that sort of thing. And where the band started, where Heidi founded the band in 1982 in Helsinki, because that's where she's from. And they've been going ever since. They've been all sorts of stuff has happened over the 40 odd years that they've been in existence, but they're still going.
It's funny because it's like, you mind the band Gorillaz? Like,
Yeah,
and they're all cartoons and they all got these backstories, and but you're doing it in the 80s, like creating something like that. But they're doing it like 2003, yeah. Like, and even then you put more depth into it, like a proper story. Yeah, you're just we just got characters with gorillas and having wee little short snippets of what they're about. I no, I like it. I like it. It's totally different. Like, means is your alter ego a badger?
yes, yeah.
Is it?
I'm very much pro supporting badgers. They're the most persecuted animals in the country, especially down in England, where they're trying to increase the cull on badgers. And I find that inherently wrong, morally speaking, because it's a lot of it is to do. They say that they spread TB amongst cattle, but from what I've heard from people in the know, they say that that TB will spread amongst cattle without badgers being around. And they're such magical creatures. I mean, I'm beginning to form that there may be in the future with snortpunk, there may be songs, whole concept thing about badgers, and I may incorporate them into the storytelling of the Forest of Moors Fest, which has been a sort of a pivotal part of the whole thing with the characters. So that I think what I could do is create some badger characters and then have them as allies with the trolls of the forest. That might be good, or just do something separate conceptually about badgers and that. So again, kind of steeped in the thing of folklore, but again trying to put across a message of awareness and sort of looking out for them. So that's
The first time I ever seen a badger was in Bathgate. Like, you never ever see them in the north of Scotland. It was like, I don't know, it was like West Lothian's the only time I ever seen badgers. And they come out in the night, and I was like, oh, and I was surprised how big badger was. I was thinking like they're going to be little moles, but they're massive.
They're quite big creatures. They got the only time I ever saw one was down in Tintagel in Cornwall back in 2001. It was kind of dusk, and we were having a walk down near the cliff along the coast there, and we saw one. And that's the only time I've ever seen a live badger. The only other ones I've seen, unfortunately, are dead badgers, roadkill, etc. But yeah, that's the only time I've ever seen one. So, but I'd love to be able to see some more and actually film them. That would be really nice. Yeah, I'll be able to do that at some stage. But just getting the opportunity to see them. But I've not seen any since I've lived here.
No, you're never going to see any wildlife in. Well, saying that, you're not going to see wildlife in Caithness. It's just I always seen more wildlife in a city for some reason as well. I've seen loads of foxes and badgers and stuff. Owls as well. It's like, aye, I don't know. They're all hiding in the city. Yeah, playing fight.
Clean off. Oh, screw living in the country. I'm going to Glasgow.
It's like even hearing a fox when they're screaming out, like their bark literally sounds like a woman screaming out. It was the first time I heard that. I was like, "What's happening outside there?" It wasn't. It was just a fox barking.
Yeah, that's it. I've heard them here the other night. they were carrying on. There was a dog barking, but the other sound was a fox, and it startled my dogs because they wouldn't have gone to see what was going on.
The last door, frosty, almost unattainable. It must be opened, so the dark winter spell fall upon the earth.
Through embittered snow fog, fathomless hoofed footfalls, ancient bells chime. Bleakness. Here is Krampus, blackened grimness, frozen mercy. He preys on those who doubt. Through embittered snow fog, fathomless hoofed footfalls, ancient bells chime a hideous lament of doom. A snow-rift meadow, a gale of most foulness erupts as Krampus inhales the dead winter air, and the sleeping folk of Midgard, unaware of their demise, Krampus takes the final deadly steps. Blood on snow.
I was going to ask you more about the whole story path of your music.
Yeah.
It's like because you're saying like it's a story and all, and is there any like influence or like truth in like trolls or any like hidden meanings what we're missing out? Is there like oh, I'm going to create this character, but is it came from a real place, or is it all is fictional or?
It's all fictional. All the characters and the place is all fictional. I draw influence from places I visited. So, like when I used to do the blog, I would take photographs in woods and stuff to try and envisage how it looked. Really, but it's all drawn from my imagination or the characters and how I describe, and there's bits when I have described the landscape, and that it's all from my imagination. But as I say, some of it has stemmed from things I've seen, places I've visited. Like since living here, the environment here kind of suits in certain contexts what I'm writing about. So I have been inspired by that since living here. But it is all very much fictional. I'm not taking from other stories or real life people or whatnot. It's all imagined.
Yeah, no, it's just like everybody writes different. It's like you get some people who might like it's a fictional story, but like it stemmed from real life little snippets, and then they create it whatever after. And I wasn't sure how you write. Um, But it's good. It's good. It's good. Even like people listen to this and want to know your music and going, all right, I get it now. Eh? It's like you were saying that to me yesterday. Like some people just don't get where it comes from, but having a sort of platform like this, they can listen. Yeah. Yeah.
It's perfect to sort of, for me to sort of explain what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to achieve overall with the band.
Yeah, that's
And because if you, I mean, it's hard to decipher my vocals, and I don't actually publish the vocals. You can on various music platforms, but I never bother to put them in. So it's nice to be able to do that and have this to be able to look a little deeper, so people can sort of see where my the sort of what inspires me and why I write the way that I do. Yes.
that's cool, man. It means who does all your CDs and T-shirts in?
My brother does all the graphics for the CDs. He formats it for a CD cover, and he does the not the Tarina, because that's in an envelope, but the 17 Winters After, he came up with that cover because I had commissioned someone to do a photograph, but it didn't work, and I should have been more sort of clear of what I wanted, but I wanted her in the foreground of the picture, but she was just off down a country road. It was a nice photograph, but it just didn't work, and everything we tried, it just didn't work. So he came up, we were talking one night, and he had this he was using like different shades of black and dark blues, and he came up with that cover with just the band name and then the title, and it worked perfectly. It looked really good. It's like I did think about having something more suited to what the songs are about, but that is kind of like leaves it to your own imagination, because that song 17 Winters After was a follow on from a song we did called Cold Case about an unsolved murder. So I wanted to do something mystery based about some unsolved crime, and so it's kind of old file just collecting dust on a wooden shelf, and so this 17 Winters After is where we actually go back to when these murders were committed, and so it's that telling that side of the story. So you've got like a song about an unsolved case, and we actually go back, but it's still unsolved. So I want to visualize, something that is it's dark stuff. It's horrific that these people were just murdered for no reason at all, but no one knows why or who did it. But we actually go back to the time of that, and then happiness turns to absolute disaster. So it was that kind of that's what I was trying to put that in the song. And I think it came off really well because Sue, who was our vocalist, she did a really good job on the vocals, sort of conjuring up like imagery from the.
That's Winter Ghost. Was that?
No, Heidi's Ghost was before. That was that I just wanted to do something. I'd seen a film. I can't remember who it is. It's called Borley Rectory, and it was quite an odd film. It's not like well, there were actors in it, but it's not like it doesn't play out like
goes back and forth sort of thing.
It's kind of like they're there and it's all shot. And Borley Rectory, I don't know whether you're familiar with it, but it was it's a place down in England, and things were quite harmonious, but it was labelled as England's most haunted house.
In the 70s?
No, this is in the house was built in the 19th century, and this was in the early.
Yeah, I know the one you're on about. Yeah.
And they so that film is based on that. and there's all sorts of strange things happened. But anyway, the house is burnt, and then it was demolished. So Heidi's ghost was kind of like, I was trying to musically create that with it was kind of like I had quite an eerie sound on the bass and Lily's vocals just saying Heidi's ghost in various different sort of tones and pitches and intonations. And I could have fleshed out a song lyrically, but it wasn't really necessary because it worked with that simplicity of just Lily saying Heidi's ghost, and and the way she did it in whispers, and it was sort of like
chilling sound,
yeah, conveyed through mainly through her as well, and through the music. I was really happy with how that song turned out.
No, that's the one you sent me. Like I know I got a few of your albums, but I was the one I was saying. I send me across that one for this podcast. These gigs, most of your gigs are in the back garden, and people just come along to your summer fest or your winter fest, or
Yeah, they're open to people coming. They're advertised on Facebook. Next one is imminent on the 21st of June on Saturday, 3 o'clock. So if people want to come along, they can. Or you can watch it online via my Facebook profile page, Rust for Containing. So it'll be live streaming as well. But I think
I've done that a few times. When I was down the road, I was because I wasn't up for a gig, and I was went and watched it on live stream and got pissed in the kitchen by myself. Just look around at your phone, there's me getting more and more steam at it. Sean, you still there?
He's gone to sleep. He's gone to bed. He's having a sleep break. So anyone can come along. I think I've said this to a number of people. I think everyone needs to see Snortpunk at least once in their life. So even if you never see us again, just come along and see. But it's better in the real thing, because then you get the full impact.
I literally I spoke with so many times to different people, and like if it wasn't the first time meeting you, because I met you at work, but you invite me till one of your gigs, and I turn up. It was in the middle of winter. It must have been near Christmas, and you got a cottage in like Ulster. Turn up, here you were, and sure, I'm maybe making this up, and sure you had what is it, no death corpse makeup on it. You had a white face. You're in the middle of the floor, and you put up your hood and you started playing. And there was another guy there just smoking a joint. And then we're all it was quite a packed room like that. And then we started playing black metal, and I was like, "What? This is like 2 minutes away from my granny's house, and this just seems like something surreal, man."
I'm not trying to corrupt all the natives, honest.
It was like something like I don't know. It always sticks in my mind. And I was telling people, I was like, it was like just a couple of doors away from my granny, and then this guy's got white makeup on his face playing like black metal.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny how it all shakes out. It was a quiet little backwater in Caithness, and then some mad English bugger comes up and starts.
Oh man, it was just surreal, man. It was honestly, it was good. I loved that night.
That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a. I love the midsummer ones, because you can do it outside and a fire, but there's something more intimate about the midwinter one, because I love the sort of the dark side of the year as well. So it's that's always a good always a good afternoon or evening.
I always, I mean, like I'll be coming a summer one, but like a winter one, I think it suits the whole style. You know, like
Yeah.
where you're turning up to a croft that's pitch black and it's you know, it's got that feel to it. It's good.
Yeah. You got this mad corpse painted bloke.
Middle of the floor.
You know,
Oh, it's good.
yeah.
But it's funny because like when we used to work, we used to be sitting there. Like I was telling Brian the day, I said like my whole day was good if I was working with you. It means I could just sit and just chat to you all day, and
Aye.
it filled up the day. Literally, like we could chat about anything, and then we made up a couple of like movies we were meant to do. And one of them came back to me, the longest bus in the world. Mind that. It was like a never ending bus. What goes till Wick till Inverness.
Yeah, stops everywhere. You make it to Inverness. Most people don't.
Most people just leave it. Just like I'd had enough. Like it plays 3-4 songs, like country and western songs.
I've just got to pull in here.
Just got to go for a pianist stop.
I got to go and stop and see my aunt. I got to drop off. And that's it. It always started at it alighted at Tannock, didn't it?
What was that?
It always started. You always caught the bus at Tannock
Oh,
halfway
right.
up the hill.
It's mental,
And the one I've still want to do is finding Santa Claus.
Oh, I read it down here. Finding Santa would be good because we used to sit and like pack stones or cement or whatever we're up to that day, and I just we spoke about a whole story of how to find Santa and how we're going to film it and that. And I think that would be good for Caithness, like this on the hunt for Santa, and then Santa being in Caithness.
Absolutely, it'd be like
Blair Witch.
Do a lot of be driving around the county, dialogue in the car, then possible sightings, and then going off trying to see if we can see him.
Yeah, be like in the search of Bigfoot, but instead it's Santa.
Yeah.
what was the other one? It was a labourer as well. Mind that.
Oh yes. What was that?
It was like it's like you got to get 50 sheets up till the third floor before lunchtime, and it's like, dude, will he do it or will he get fired? And then the second one, it was going to be a skilled labourer because he's on the power tools this time.
He's the one who's been to college day release.
he's the one who's stuck in for an extra 50 pence.
Yes.
Yeah. If it wasn't for like you at work, honestly, it would have dragged it. But like, I mean, it was good. It was good to sitting there just chatting nonsense and having a laugh like that.
Yeah, it was good. It's
wavelength as far as like is what we used to find funny, man. You know, this silly stuff.
That's where all the best ideas come for. You know, you're sort of talking absolute nonsense, but in there are some hidden gems that you can kind of take out and use for. And I think one of them was definitely In Search of Santa. We've got to do that.
Yeah, I'll be up for that. Like, I'm always up for making a video or but it's trying to get people up here. Like, I mean, I'm saying that we see like I tried to do it last year with 48-hour challenge, but like I posted it and nobody was up for it, and I was like, I'm just going to do it myself. Means that was all right. I would never do it myself again. It was far too much work in 2 days. Like, I was like, I'm sick of filming. I don't know what to do. I said. Okay. But it was bad, man.
There's plenty of we really should get on with that, and then maybe I could do like a soundtrack to it. Yeah, I could do like a whole Santa themed album.
Just
That
having bells in the background. A
yeah, I think
dark
China,
version of Santa.
I've heard that make the perfect Christmas record, and I have been trying to implement that in my midwintery records. So a whole thing, and then we have that, and then it's like an album to come out, Snortpunk's Christmas album.
Right.
Completely
I
against.
sort of like I'm not musical, but I always fancied doing a Christmas song. I always thought that would be a laugher, try to do a Christmas song.
I've done a few. I mean, Krampus was
Uh,
one of ours. December Black.
no.
What was the other one? Yowler Puppy. That was another one of the Christmas ones we did. So there's been a few. They're mainly sort of themed around sort of with the whole thing of midwinter, but they are kind of in effect Christmas songs, even though they're not directly about Christmas. They're more darker.
Christmas songs have nothing to do with Christmas. No, they are actually, because they are winter, aye.
Right, that's it. It's that kind of thing, but it is set in midwinter, and it's more of a harks back to a more older, more ancient, darker time.
Mm.
So that's where my it with regard to that, that's where the influence of those songs comes from. Yeah.
Because I mind, what is it? The whole thing is like if we were going to do a search for Santa, it was a getting what is it? Somebody going, oh, he's got a big bushy beard. I'm like, you say that? That just made me laugh. You know, like some random guy you knocking on the door, he's like, big bushy beard.
Isn't it? He's got one thing you've got: a great big bushy beard.
Oh man, fucking hell. But we're even thinking like I like somebody's dad to be in it. Like I thought he'd be a perfect Santa for it. He's got a full look, but I don't know if he would do it.
That would be good. I could grow my beard, but it's got a certain growing length. It kind of stops after a while. I've got a little beard. But we were wanting to get that's it. We wanted Jennifer Aniston in the film as well, didn't we?
I can't wait this. What is she gonna do?
She was going to be carrying out interviews because I think we were going to either she was going to carry out interviews or she was going to be we'd knock on the door of a house and she'd answer it, and then we would ask her if she'd seen Santa, so she'd have more like a cameo role. But
this is random A-list celebrity, yeah, like a homemade B movie sort of.
do you fancy coming over to Scotland to hear an elf film about finding Santa Claus in caveman?
How much are you getting paid? It's a crate of beer and a sausage roll or something.
Yeah, box of beer and we'll take you out to lunch.
A taxi home as well, you know, saves you a trip.
Yeah, maybe, I don't think she'd do it, but but maybe we could find someone who would want.
I'll be up for doing it. We just need to get other people involved, and we'll definitely get it. I'll be up for any nonsense. Well, what else was I going to say? I mean, where did your sound of your voice come from? Well, because it is like you said, it's more like a troll singing it.
Yes, it's taken a very long time to get the right kind of pitch with that. I remember listening to some of the earlier stuff I'd done, and it's not quite there, but it's a constant learning curve. And the thing is with my vocal style is it's staying focused. So if I'm focused, I'm right there, and then that's it. You kind of got it. You're away. Nothing else is. You just like this afternoon. I videoed part of the rehearsal, and I was just spitting the words out, and that's how it should be. But sometimes I sudden sort of lapse in focus, you can lose it and it goes. But it's constantly having to work at it, and I've got it where I sort of want it to be. It was quite a long journey with that, getting that, because it used to it doesn't now, but it used to, like, my throat would really suffer after I'd sort of played or even just rehearsing, and for some time because of that I just used to rehearse the music for the 2 events I put on each year. But the problem with that is I don't know, if I'm not doing the vocals, I don't know where the song ends. So sometimes I'll be playing the song way too long. So as of this last year, I've done like rehearsals with vocals, and it seems to work out a lot better, as opposed to waiting to the day of the gig and then doing it then. So this is a much better way of working. Yeah.
Because you said what's good for your voice is drinking beer. I don't know if that's just like you taking a piss or if that's if that's just what's really good for your voice.
Good. Gotta keep the. I can't have too much before I'm playing, but yes, a few beers helps loosen things up, and then I can give a good performance, hopefully on the back of that. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's why there's beer, and then plenty of beer afterwards, of course, because
That's what the doctor said. Describe nothing but beer for the next 6 months.
yeah,
Yeah.
got a gig coming up. Give me
Oh, you play bass, means you play it loosely, like strings are not tight, and you slap it. Is that came from any sort of style, or is that just you doing it?
I have heard there are some people who do slap. That is a common thing, but I kind of have done it purely to experiment, to create different variations in the sounds of playing. So yes, it's not I can't lay claim to it being me, because it isn't, but I use it sometimes because it's another way of it just I stumbled across it when playing a while ago, and it just added something here and there, just to give some variation. And with these songs, the new ones that are coming out, I've done, normally when I play, if you listen to my music, most of it is kind of following a loop round, going round and going back the other way, then going down the fretboard to another part, but doing that. But with this new stuff coming out, I've done more of it's got more of a nice variation. It kind of builds, and then it can slow down, and then take it down to another bit, and it's doing something else. So it's and then it's played faster a bit than slow. But it's more of a kind of think it's more kind of hypnotic, because it's the whole thing. It's kind of trying to draw the listener into the bass with the songs.
Yeah. No, like I know, like with new metal, like it was people used to like slap a bass, and it was like Field Day at Corn and that, and there's probably a few others there. But I was just wondering where you got that sort of style from. I'm trying to think, is there any other questions? I think I touched on all the ones I was. Is there any bullet points I missed you would like to speak about?
I can't. No, I think we've covered most of what we set out.
Yeah, I think so. Hope so. I hope it's nothing what comes in the back of my mind. That's happened a couple of times where I'm like, oh, I really should have asked him that question. I've totally forgot it, or.
Yeah, but I can't remember what I remember. A lot of what we said last night, but I can't remember. Was there any other points that you wanted, things you wanted to ask me?
No.
No, I can't. Off the top of my head, I can't.
That's fine. If you're happy with that, we can call it a day on this.
Yeah, perfect.
Aye. But it's good. It's good having you on, Phil, and it's always a laugh when you're a bit.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Aye. And well, I'll see you at the gig.
Yeah, absolutely, on the 21st. So yeah, we'll see you then.
I'll be here with my tin of shandy anyway.
Yeah, tin of Copec.
That's it. I was saying that to Brian. It's like, honestly, what a hangover I had on the Wednesday night. Like, no, it was Wednesday, and I was like just written off for a full day. And I thought, I'm done with drink. Absolutely done. I had to phone her up to tell her to come in and give me a cuddle out. I was like, hang on now. And I thought, that's how bad I was. I thought, I'm off drink for a while like that. There's no need for it. There's no need to be that rough. Like,
no, you shouldn't feel that rough.
Yeah.
Get a few top decks down here. That'll bring you around.
Top decks, sorry.
I have to see if I can find some for the gig next month.
You know what I did find? I did mind I was telling you about you used to get shandy and you got a blue one, I can't mind what, and then you got a tenant shandy. I found tenant shandy again. I was like, all right, means that's for a gig then.
Yeah, definitely. We'll open the gig with a tenant shandy.
A tenant shandy. 5 shandies in, I have to go home.
I'll be crucified after 5 tenant shandies, man. I tell you.
Asking people the next day, was it all right last night?
Steaming, missed the gig, passed out. Had 5 tenant shandies before.
Oh, he's not back on the shandy. Oh, that's it.
Christ. Oh dear. Yes.
Anyway, I'll let you go, and hopefully this will be it next Friday.
Perfect.
Crack on with it.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll share it on Facebook, will you?
Oh, it'll be shared on Facebook. It'll be shared on it'll be on YouTube as well. It means you can either take it from my Facebook or take it from YouTube.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Let's
Cool.
keep it up.
That'd be good. Oh well, I'll speak to you soon now. And
yeah, absolutely. And I'll see you definitely on the 21st.
Yeah, perfect. No, and if anybody else is wanting to come,
yeah, bring them along.
Means 21st. Is it June? July?
Yeah, June.
21st of June.
3 o'clock. Mine.
Nah, mine and bring a crate of shandy.
Absolutely.